You're the internet's boyfriend. How does that
I
make
thought Keanu
you
Reeves was the internet's boyfriend. No.
When an especially alluring male celebrity wins over our hearts, he earns the honorary title of the internet's boyfriend.
You guys know him as the internet's boyfriend.
We've long had teen heartthrobs and celebrity crushes, but the internet's boyfriend sounds like a more serious relationship, and one that might even be reciprocal.
Is really going to be breathtaking. You're breathtaking!
So who are the internet's boyfriends, and what makes them such catches? One of the keys to an internet boyfriend is that for all the thirsty tweets they inspire,
I want Oscar Isaac to blank me in the blank.
their attractiveness isn't just about sex appeal. They're beloved for their perceived values and personality. Keyword perceived.
Harry, you always treat people with kindness.
As long as mass media has existed, masses of people have been able to fall intimately in love with pop idols.
I love the Beatles for them and I'll always love them.
But the ascendancy of the internet has also allowed fans to share these feelings with each other through funny memes and rapturous Tumblr accounts.
There's an Instagram account, I don't know if you saw this, where people take your face and put it on art. I don't know if you ever seen this?
Yes.
It's
Essentially, fans collaborate to author the fantasy inner life of the internet boyfriend.
I can't stop thinking about that TikTok that says women don't objectify men, we personify them. Like, I see something like this and I'm like, wow, he must be really in touch with his feelings.
The star himself is the Galatea to our collective digital Pygmalion. Being a boyfriend to the entire internet is a big responsibility. The stars that carry this title are symbols of ideal masculinity in a post-Me Too time when manhood is being reassessed.
We've been partnering with UNICEF's End Violence program to protect children and young people all over the world from violence.
As writer Salagna Misra put in a piece for The Cut, when real men disappoint us, the internet's boyfriend is a paragon of enlightened masculinity constructed by committee. According to Esther Zuckerman, who literally wrote the book on the topic, women and queer people are the ones usually selecting the internet boyfriend. So, the figure is a window into female and queer fandoms and our still emerging understanding of the female gaze, or gaze gaze.
We definitely have other sketch ideas where you aren't just being an extremely hot sex man. We do? No, we're screwed.
Here's our take on the internet's boyfriends and how they answer the question, what do we really want from men in the 21st century? If you're new here, be sure to subscribe and click the bell to get notified about all our new videos. Bright Cellars wants to hook you up with the perfect bottle of wine. Take their short, easy quiz, and they will create the perfect wine experience for you. Do you love the taste of black coffee? Bright Cellars has a wine for that. What about a wine that reminds you of salty, clean air, like staring into Timothée Chalamet's sea blue eyes? There's a wine for that, too. Each bottle comes with information on its flavor profile, what to pair it with, and what temperature it should be served at. Get 50% off your first 6-bottle wine experience with the link in the description and become the wine expert of your friend group. Thanks to Bright Cellars for sponsoring this video. Zuckerman's book names Benedict Cumberbatch as the first common bearer of the internet's boyfriend title, circa 2015 or 2016.
Cumberbitches.
Oh, God. That seems a weird thing to call themselves.
But we can trace the popular idea of a male celebrity becoming everyone's imaginary boyfriend back to Ryan Gosling Hey Girl memes starting in 2008.
Hey girl, feel my sweater, know what it's made of, boyfriend material.
Gosling had starred in 2004's The Notebook, which had everyone's favorite kissing in the rain scene, so it made sense that netizens circa 2008 would see him as perfect boyfriend material. But in 2011, the meme evolved thanks to the feminist Ryan Gosling Tumblr, which became an internet sensation and even launched a book. Meanwhile, in 2010, someone took a picture of Keanu Reeves sitting rather gloomily on a New York City bench eating a sandwich. The sad Keanu meme was born, and the internet was infatuated. So now let's use Keanu as a case study of the internet boyfriend par excellence.
Everyone is just kind of gushing over you on the internet. You didn't know that yet.
No, well that's
A lot of positivity.
Wacky.
Reeves was a huge blockbuster superstar in the 90s and aughts.
He was the greatest North American box office draw of the 90s and early 2000s.
But he was also kind of ridiculed and dismissed as a mediocre actor.
Whoa.
Or
Not too bright.
In the 2010s, the Keanu-sance began, ushered in largely by people learning more about what a good guy Keanu apparently was off-screen.
He is so immediately, clearly humble, kind, gracious.
100%. Keanu gave $50 million of his $70 million earnings from the Matrix sequels to the special effects and makeup staff, saying, "Money is the last thing I think about."
After Sad Keanu, Reeves' relatable behavior drew attention again in 2011 when footage emerged of him giving up his seat on the subway to a woman with heavy bags. The internet fell in love with the portrait of a thoughtful, sensitive man sketched out via poetic chance glimpses and persistent stories of his random acts of kindness.
This guy's calling out, heckling Keanu Reeves, and then I look back at Keanu Reeves. Keanu Reeves just smiling and did the other line from the movie.
At the same time, little was actually known about his private life. As Alex Papadopoulos writes for GQ, he's pulled off the nearly impossible feat of remaining an enigmatic cult figure despite having been an A-list actor for decades. So Reeves was perfect material for internet boyfriendship due to this balance of charming personal life reveals and blank mystique we could project onto.
Keanu helps children too, probably. He's helped a lot of people.
Starting in 2014, viewers' off-screen idea of Keanu fueled the success of his franchise John Wick. The films showcased his commitment to working super hard on doing the action choreography himself.
I do probably 85–90% of the action.
While empathy for the actor made viewers really care when the poor man's puppy is brutally murdered.
When Ellen died, I lost everything until that dog arrived on my doorstep. A final gift from my wife.
Then in 2019's Always Be My Maybe, Keanu cemented his internet boyfriendness even more by hilariously mocking his reputation for sensitivity.
Mr. Light.
Oh, Mr. Chin.
Mr. Soul.
Letting us enjoy unbridled silliness and showing how little he took himself seriously.
What about the bill?
I took care of it. It's $6,400. Less than a residual paycheck for my hit movie Speed.
The allure of an internet boyfriend like Keanu signals a larger shift in how we relate to celebrities. Compare Reeves with the 1998 movie Celebrity's instantly recognizable archetype of the obnoxious 90s heartthrob. Brandon Darrow, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, is self-serious, moving through the world as though resigned to his status of besieged deity, while living a life of bottomless luxury and questionable values. Where glam bad boy Darrow is arrogant and grandiose,
Sue all you.
Reeves is loved for his humility.
I'm a pretty simple guy. You know, I've been really lucky to have the chance to have a career.
Darrow literally operates above the law, and the cops justify not arresting him by saying,
"Because this is Brandon Darrow, you understand? That's the only reason."
Reeves once made headlines for patiently waiting in line to enter his own rap party. Whereas Darrow mistreats women, Reeves has the reputation of being notably respectful towards women. In a compilation of Reeves' photographed interactions with female fans and co-stars, Reeves takes care to hug the women without actually touching them, his hand sort of hovering. One caption read, "I stan a respectful king."
It appears that anytime he takes a picture of you, he'll put his arms behind you, but he never touches you. He's always open.
I like that.
Overall, what's appealing about Reeves is his seeming immunity to the corrosion of celebrity. He does not pander to his audience, nor is he a snob.
You know, I'm not really familiar with my memes. I know of Sad Keanu.
In interviews, he legitimately feels present and soulful.
What do you think happens when we die, Keanu Reeves?
I know that the ones who love us will miss us.
And paradoxically, Reeves is beloved online because he represents the opposite of the worst parts of the internet. His calm, grounded persona counteracts all the toxic noise.
What is your secret for always staying down to earth? Well, I mean, gravity.
How can I get myself a man as sweet as you? Any tips?
Every internet boyfriend is unique and beautiful in their own way.
Yeah, I like it. Sad, yeah.
But looking at the internet's boyfriends as a group, we can spot 3 key qualities the internet seems to prize in its beloveds. Number 1, a mysterious allure. Even though internet boyfriends are attractive to large numbers of people, classic good looks are not a must.
The blessing of having a weird face. Somewhere between an otter and something that people find vaguely attractive.
Benedict Cumberbatch, who many identify as the first internet boyfriend proper, didn't think he was handsome enough to play the part of sexy genius detective in the BBC adaptation of Sherlock Holmes. As showrunner Stephen Moffat told Time Out, Benedict's mom didn't think he was good-looking enough to play Sherlock. Nobody did. Nevertheless, Cumberbatch's Sherlock went on to inspire fervent Cumbermania, while his fans were dubbed the Cumberbitches.
Why is Benedict Cumberbatch hot?
It's not like his face
per se. I mean, it is, but it's like, okay, it's more like the way his body and how he not his body.
The humor in the SNL sketch Why is Benedict Cumberbatch Hot is derived from the way Cumberbatch's allure is so viscerally obvious to straight women and yet completely baffling to straight men.
When I see him, I just want to I just want
Are we looking at the same dude?
According to TikTok user Ugly Hot Theorist, male celebrities can be sorted into 3 categories. The first group are both conventionally hot and subjectively attractive. The second are conventionally attractive but subjectively not hot and therefore hot ugly.
Channing Tatum, hot ugly. Noah Centineo is hot ugly.
And a third group are not conventionally attractive but are subjectively hot or ugly hot.
Benedict Cumberbatch is ugly hot. Adam Driver is another great example of ugly hot.
Stars from all 3 categories have been dubbed internet boyfriends, but a number of the so-called ugly hot group have inspired particular zeal, and this highlights something curious about the way our attraction to male celebrities works. Where female sex symbols are typically cast for their conventional sexual attractiveness, the internet boyfriend's physical beauty is not the most important part of the package.
Some dude came up to me and was like, yo, man, you gave me hope. I was like, I didn't know I was that ugly.
A lack of physical perfection may even be desirable because it allows for the female gaze to write character and relatability onto the figure.
Explain to me, why is Benedict Cumberbatch hot?
Does my answer have to be in English?
Number 2, an aura of authenticity. Fans today have unprecedented access to stars' lives. Otherwise, how would we ever have learned that Oscar Isaac once ate hot Cheetos with chopsticks while wearing a beanie? Or that Timothée Chalamet rapped about statistics for his classroom under the stage name Lil Timmy Tim?
Look at me, it's Timmy T.
It's having this intimate knowledge about stars' private lives and idiosyncrasies that makes the boyfriend fantasy feel real. Seeing BTS doing mundane things like eating and relaxing after shows.
방 난장판이라고요? 그럴 리가.
Or a relaxed, quarantined Stanley Tucci explaining a cocktail recipe to his wife.
What you want is a double shot of gin.
Makes fans feel as though they truly know these guys. This is why many top picks for the internet's boyfriend title are YouTubers and social media stars who show their private lives and build their brands on openness.
What's up, I'm bored, so I'm gonna do a little vlog.
It's no coincidence that the modern parlance changed from celebrity crush implying admiration from a distance to internet boyfriend, someone we have a close personal relationship with. A true internet boyfriend isn't afraid to be vulnerable, open, sincere, and even silly with his audience.
The first late night I ever did was here, and I was staring at my feet the entire time.
The internet has a high tolerance for weirdness, and many of the internet's boyfriends are loved for exactly that.
Yaba. I've always wanted to touch him. Like the texture of Yaba is something I need to discover. The texture, I'm very curious to actually touch Yaba. Come on, touching his, like his belly.
Modern audiences have a high degree of media literacy. We understand that much of a celebrity's image is constructed artificially. We thirst after moments when we feel as though celebrities' polished personas rupture and their personalities can't be contained by the machinery of celebrity.
Of all the questions we had, the one that came up most often was ask Benedict to say the word penguin.
So why are these woodlands so attractive to penguins?
Number 3, a good heart. Still, authenticity isn't valuable simply in and of itself. Realness is important for the internet's boyfriends as proof of their goodness and integrity.
He's so kind and humble and collaborative and welcoming. I mean, everything, all the good things you hear about Keanu, they're true. They're true.
To earn the internet's love today, a social conscience is essential.
It was 2015's The Most Beautiful Moment in Life that solidified BTS as a voice for their generation, tackling taboos like anxiety, depression, and generational divides.
Internet boyfriend Michael B. Jordan took a stand against racial injustice during the BLM protests in the summer of 2020.
We can't be complacent. We can't let this moment just pass us by.
Jason Momoa is a passionate environmentalist.
You stood by and witnessed the world cross the critical tipping point, ushering the death of our planet.
Internet boyfriends are outspoken feminists.
I want to read this chapter to you.
As evidenced by YouTube compilations called things like Harry Styles respecting women for 3 minutes straight, or Ryan Gosling calling attention to how his wife, Eva Mendes's work for their family enabled his Golden Globe win.
My lady was raising our daughter, pregnant with our second. If she hadn't have taken all that on so that I could have this experience, it would surely be someone else up here.
They're unafraid of being seen as sensitive or soft.
You were never second best.
In touch with their emotions, and as Harry Styles' Watermelon Sugar video makes clear, they respect female pleasure.
And everyone's kind of figured out what it's about. The joys of, mutually appreciated oral pleasure.
Overall, what we expect from and admire in male celebrities is now relatability instead of glamour, self-awareness instead of hubris, and legitimately nice guys instead of bad boys.
He ticks all the boxes, and he's a lovely man as well. So.
I think clearly by the evidence in front of us, if either of us is the charming one, I think you've just met her.
Today, celebrities' glamour is increasingly unpalatable if it's not paired with down-to-earth perspective. Rather than viewing celebrities as a different breed whose wealth and fame act somehow as proof of their inherent virtue, we now think of them as people who are like us, but with more responsibility. They need to be worthy of their privilege by being principled and good.
You never hear from him in a bar or drinking wine, or hanging out with nobody.
Why are the internet's boyfriends a thing, but not the internet's girlfriends? There are a few female celebrities that inspire enough online horniness and admiration to claim this title.
Ruby Rose's jawline is my religion.
But internet boyfriends are the more common, bigger phenomenon. And one explanation for this is that internet beloveds are picked mainly by women and queer people.
Oh my God, Justin Hartley on Passions was how I knew I was gay. Well, great, congratulations. I take that, that's a wonderful compliment.
The kind of collective creative imagination necessary to birth an internet boyfriend or girlfriend's persona descends in many ways from fan fiction, which is a heavily female and queer space.
The summer before high school, she started writing fan fiction.
Your eyes widened, and the heat pooled where you most wanted Damon at the sight of his... Guys.
Slash fanfic, dealing with non-canonical pairings of male characters, is written mainly by women and for women, which on the surface doesn't make sense. Why do so many female authors and readers like stories about men falling in love with men?
Harry can sense the nervous tension running through Louis' stiff body.
But when they use only male characters, female writers don't have to engage with the male-gazy way female sexuality has always been presented at all. Literary critic Stephanie Burt wrote in The New Yorker, "If women want to imagine sex between people who are both empowered and equal," the argument ran, "we may have to imagine two men in space." Since it's long been assumed that nothing that matters to teen girls can be important or worthwhile,
these girls are crazy about One Direction, and I've got no idea why.
For a long time, fanfiction was denigrated as a shameful and irrelevant hobby, dismissed as plagiarism or weird smut. But in recent years, fanfiction and female and queer fandoms in general have gained acceptance.
Maybe it will inspire you to write some weird, graphic fanfiction of your own.
And power.
Their meteoric rise has often been attributed to their significant reach on social media, thanks in part to their extremely dedicated and organized fanbase called ARMY. And it's easy to trace how today's internet boyfriends descend from fanfiction culture. Thirst tweets have both the snappy writing and the horniness of erotic fanfiction.
I want to lick James Marsden's cheekbones.
Just had a salad so beautiful, delicious, and Greek that I called it John Stamos.
Many posts about internet boyfriends also focus on a slash fiction style romanticization of relationships between male co-stars.
I want someone to look at me the way Sebastian and Anthony Mackie look at each other.
And most importantly, just like in fanfiction, the internet boyfriend creates a safe space for fans to project onto. As Sulagna Misra writes, these actors, who are not known for their romantic roles, offer enough of a blank slate that users can write their own forms of romance onto them. Both fanfiction and internet boyfriends have revealed how big a role imagination plays in female and queer fandoms.
I've been lucky enough to appear in shows that fans were really passionate about. And you know what that means? Fan fiction.
Imagination has been necessary because for so long, mainstream stories weren't written by and for us. Today, we may still not have an adequate understanding of the female gaze, but the female imagination is running wild.
Now I know what it feels like to be completely starstruck.
The only stars that matter are the ones you look at when you dream.
So we talk here about internet boyfriends. What about internet friends? Are there people that we lust after as friends? I guess lust is not the right word then, but that we crave friendship with.
I mean, I would love any sort of conversation
with Tina Fey and John Oliver.
Las Culturistas, for me, Bowen Yang and Matt Rogers, they just seem like they're having so much fun together.
Emily Blunt seems just like she is so on it.
My ideal internet couple friend, I think, I just realized this, would be Andy Samberg and Joanna Newsom. I mean, what an amazing couple.
Before we ever met, I was a huge fan of her music, so now it's incredible for me when she plays. I just sort of go and lie down on the floor and just zen out.
Kristen Bell and Dak Shepard, I think they're so real.
They do seem fun.
You laugh with them all day, and you laugh with her all day.
I do.
Not as much. See how he hesitated?
Like, they have a sense of humor about life that can really be hard and suck. I want to like hang out with them. Something you think about the idea of like internet boyfriend or any kind of internet crush or love is, what are we looking for?
It's the weirdness, it's the random real moments and the kind of silliness. And I think that gets at, actually what a good relationship is laughing and being with your best friend.
There's something cool though about internet boyfriends of today where there's a cerebral connection, and it's someone that we would want to talk to or have experiences with, not just crush on.
Yeah, and I think that there are a lot of really positive signals. They're not threatening men. They are not aggressive, dominating men. They're men that maybe you feel would support you. And I think that's a great message or a great trend. But at the same time, if you get a little too caught up with the internet boyfriend, it can potentially be a little disappointing in real life. Holding anyone to this kind of standard is not going to go well.
I mean, we can pick and choose what maybe certain characteristics we're going to prioritize, but it's so true, like how important we have to realize this isn't real.
Is this something that women, that we tend to do more often, the whole idea of the female gaze being based in imagination, that we really like to invent this personality for the ideal boyfriend, that we like to write this person?
Darcy, right? Women have always sort of tried to write their ideal man.
He's perfectly amiable. If you only knew his generous nature.
There should be more internet girlfriends and internet friends, internet friends. The goofiness and the warmth of the internet's boyfriend, I think is something that we can bring to everybody across genders, and just who do we all really want to be friends with, and just is putting something positive into the world. I like that overall this is a trend toward expecting celebrities to be good people.
When you think about the ideal or the internet boyfriend, it's not just about who we want to be with or interact with or relate to, but also who we want to be.
Right, and what do they represent to us? I've always been the kind of person who was more interested in fictional characters than celebrities. I think I would have crushes more on a fictional character than the actor playing them or any actor. And maybe that's because you get to know somebody so intimately through fiction and through the way that you imagine them. They're yours, and they represent this piece of you, and their arc is clearer, whereas a whole person or celebrity is many faceted.
And you can ignore the parts you don't like. Right?
And the fiction belongs to you. It's yours. It's a piece of you projected and realized.
Our imagination informs so much about our real creation and actions too.
This video was written by friend of the take, Anya Formozova. If you like the ideas here, you can check out her channel, Q22, for more interesting cultural insights.